Here is drawing I made a couple weeks ago at the beginning of arc of Arlong and Chu and Kyorubi. He is bad dude and hopefully get his ass kicked now. So follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for more pictures.
One Piece, Chapter 89, Trade-Off.
What the hell? Did a goddamn Muppet sneak in here?
Hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the epic and action-packed tale of One Piece. Our last chapter left us with Sanji diving down and trying to free Luffy. Luffy's body is still trapped underwater, stuck in the rock. His head is above water. And Arlong, of course, wanting to go in after him to stop him from doing that. Zoro has basically said, I got 30 seconds left in me, tops. And he's standing between Arlong and getting to Sanji. The end of the chapter saw Usopp return and try to help in the fray. He joined the foray and the fight, and of course Nami as well is there. And it ended with Hachi looking like he kind of got up on his arms and legs, and he's I think he's going to rejoin the fight. So that's how everything ended. That's how this one begins, and these ones are just really super action packed. I mean, they're a lot of fun. Really enjoy them. I've not been excited about Luffy being caught underwater for the last 4, 5, 6 chapters, whatever it's been. It's been agonizing, because you like him to be part of the fight as well. But like I said, this is a good one. It starts out right where we left off, and we have Zoro, basically standing in between Arlong and getting to Sanji, and Arlong realizes that he's like, you're not going to go free, your buddy's not going to go free that boy, and and Zoro, something to that effect, and Zoro basically says, oh yeah, he is, this remember, this is our game, we're going to play it how we want, and Arlong says, no, this is my game, and you're not going to cheat. So anyway, we see Usopp go and try to distract him again and go rubber band of doom, and fire this rubber band at him, and which, like I said, is just kind of comical because he puts everything into what he has, but some of it really is just kind of smoke and mirrors distracting type techniques. We then go and we see Hachi get up, and Hachi's like, oh well, I thought there was a rubber band coming at me. And Usopp goes, oh, see, the rubber band scared him. Well, Hachi's like, oh man, I'm not going to let him go free, and I'm not going to let him get down there and free up. He's going to join the fight. He's going to stop them, and he goes and bottom line, he goes and dives in the water going after Sanji. So Sanji he's swimming down there now, and trying to get down. And he's like, one kick will will be able to free Luffy, right? And as he's getting closer, the fishmen obviously are much stronger and quicker underwater. Hachi winds up, gaining on him and getting close to him. Nojiko kind of sees that and is like, oh, look out, as she's underwater, just kind of, I guess, talking while she's blowing air out, bubbles. And Sanji, and then and we get Octopus Fritter Frenzy, and he starts coming at that crazy move he uses with all 6 arms, where he's just like a machine gun, coming out with the punches, and Sanji's like, oh shit. It goes back to on land over here, and we have Zoro trying to take out Arlong, and Zoro's basically like, you know what, I'm going to cut that prize nose of yours off, right? And Zoro just goes, he's going to go and clang right through it, or so you think, and Arlong kind of catches the sword with his nose, his sawtooth nose, and he's just like, you fool. He's like, why do you think this nose is so prized to me? He's like, because it's unbreakable. He goes, even if you were at full strength and, you hit it with all your might, right? You wouldn't even be able to scratch it, And so you're thinking, oh shit, this is not good. And he's, Zoro doesn't got much left in him anyway, and he's getting beat on over here. And like I said, it's just not a great feeling, as far as things go, because Zoro is unfortunately, man, he has gotten walked all over as far as just getting beaten up and down. Really since we first met him, back in chapter 3, he's every time we see him, he's bloodied, he's bruised, he's beaten, he's cut, But so there's a kind of an agonizing picture, and even though this is a more comical, probably family-oriented manga, there's a couple of pictures that that are kind of just grisly and disturbing, and one of them is Arlong goes and basically he's got him now, right? And he picks him up by his by his shoulder or by his head, and you just see his shirt ripped open, Zoro's shirt ripped open, and all this blood just running down him, right? And then you go and you see, because Arlong makes mention of it, he's like, oh, what are these bandages for? He rips the bandages off, and in the next scene, when you actually see him hanging there and he's got the bandages off that were covering pretty much his whole body, you see just like these giant stitches, like he had open heart surgery, just across his entire chest down to his stomach on an angle, and you're like, oh my god. And that was what happened from Hawkeye hitting him, And as we learned before, I mean, this guy's basically like freaking superhuman because, these wounds would have killed any normal man. So you just really feel for him. And like I said, it's just kind of a grisly picture that you look, and it just shows the true nature and the horror of what has actually happened to him and how he just keeps on ticking somehow or another, So, in really kind of a very comical turn of events, Zoro is pretty much being held there, by his head, and it looks like he's gonna die, right? And Arlong even says, I better use this opportunity to kill him or whatever. He's weakened, I might as well just wipe him out and kill him. And Zoro goes and he says, if you hold still, if you hold something to the effect of, if you would have stayed still, if you stay still, the wounds won't open up and this and that. And then, what's his name? Arlong goes, oh yeah, well that's true. I guess that would be true, but it's not going to make any difference for you. And then, and then it's great because I had no idea, right? I wasn't even thinking about this. Zoro then goes and he says, no, I was talking about your little fishman buddy, right? And we remember that Zoro went and wound up using, he did the onigiri on him, and then he wound up coming at him, and he did that crazy, Haroken, and just wound up, we saw his body, Hachi's body in the air with all these slices through him, Well, all these wounds, if he would have just laid on the ground, they may have stayed closed. But what he's saying is that basically the dumb shit went and started getting active, diving in the water, right? And then he's got his arms going, he's flailing, he's swimming, he's trying to go after, Sanji. All these wounds just opened up, all these razor-like cuts from Zoro's swords. So it's really kind of cool because then Zoro's just like, yeah, I told you you're playing our game, and we're winning. And it's just kind of cool because he's just like, yeah, we're winning, motherfucker. And he doesn't say that, but that's kind of how I would picture it happening, at least that's what I would probably say in this. And it's just real smug because, here he's on death's doorstep, right? And he's still got something to go and say. So then it goes and it takes us over and it shows us Hachi underwater, right? And Hachi basically just all of a sudden, blood starts spurting out of him everywhere. And you see all these wounds opening up, and now, now he's screwed, So Sanji is able to go and then use that opportunity to go and of course break free from him, and defending himself against what was coming, and finally just kick and break the rock. Luffy comes flying up out of the water because remember his head is stretched up above the water 50, 100 feet, whatever it is. It's a lot, Luffy goes and like the rubber band he is, like the rubber band, his body contracts upward and he just goes flying upward, And and there was a funny exchange between him and Genzo too, where he looks up at Genzo and he's like, "Hey, where's your pinwheel on your hat?" And Genzo's like, "Don't worry about that now." But Luffy comes flying up out of the air, right? And this was kind of cool because the chapter was called Trade Off, and the first thing I was thinking is like, what do you mean trade off? Like, is somebody gonna die? Is what's gonna happen? For somebody to live, that's what a trade off usually is. Sacrifice for for gain. And Luffy comes flying out of the water, boing, and he's in midair, right? And he's like, "Hey, Zoro!" And he sees Zoro just sitting there, basically like I said, on death's doorstep, from Arlong. And and as he's going to come back down, right? And they're like, "Oh, good, Luffy, you're back in the fight. You can help, And basically, we need your help to take out Arlong. That's what they wanted him to begin with. Sanji even said that when he was swimming down there and trying to, I got to free him. He's the only one that's got a chance and enough fight left in him to kill Arlong. So he comes flying down, and mind you, he flew up probably 100 foot in the air, up out of the water, and he comes down like a freaking missile or whatever, and he goes, "Hey, Zoro, trade places?" Because he sees Zoro's just, got nothing left or whatever, and he's figuring, "Hey, tag me in, bro, tag me in." So he comes in, and as he comes down, man, he's just like, "Gomu, gomu," and he's just like, pulls, rears his head back, and just fucking boom, just headbutts Arlong, bell, and then he goes and he hits him, boom, with the pistol, and you're like, oh man, this is great. And then he goes and he hits him with the Gatling gun, and like I said, just kind of cool. And we end up seeing 2-3 pages of him just kind of beating Arlong back and down. So then we go and we see this, this figure, this picture of Arlong, the menacing bastard that he is, and he's got some blood on him and everything, but he's still, he's still kind of standing. I mean, he got pummeled backwards, but he kind of got right back up, and he's just like, "Is that it?" Kind of like with his big fucking head that he's got about fishmen being so much stronger and everything else in the superior race. It's basically just like, "Is that all you got?" And Luffy goes, and I love Luffy too, man, because you got to admire the charm of this kid. Regardless of his powers, his determination and his will are great, but I mean, you look at him and he just looks like this skinny sort of like teenage kid that just needs to like pack on a few pounds, right? Like, he does not look menacing or terrifying or like anybody that could beat a fly, a small kitten, But he goes and he is just so determined, and he's just so confident in himself and his ability and his unwavering and undying determination to set a goal and to do the goal. That's it. That's all it is. One track mind. You know what I mean? There's no bias, no prejudice, no nothing. And he just goes and says to Arlong, he's like, no, I was just getting warmed up. And you're like, oh boy, the shit's gonna get thick. So we have one more chapter before the volume concludes, and we move on to the next one. And I'm anticipating that the next few chapters are probably going to be similar to the Don Krieg fight, in the sense that it's going to be this ultimate back and forth battle, as Arlong is kind of like this big badass of East Blue. So let me know what you think, though, Nation, in the comments down below. Certainly feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you should think I deserve it. And subscribe if you haven't done so already.
For watching,
we look forward to catching you
remember,
in the next one.
Join the Nerd Nation. It's the right thing to do. Trust me. Tell them Jim sent you.